In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get an $80,000 credit card from Navy Federal, even with bad credit. Now, I made this video over 2 years ago and it got over 1 million views. But in that time, I have more strategies, and actually, I even have a way where you can get more than that on credit lines with Navy Federal. And so I'm going to share with you these hacks and some steps that you need to take, and some of the information that you've been given. I want to give you a different strategy and a better way than what you've been hearing. One of the ways people keep telling you is the pledge loan. And I am not an advocate of the pledge loan. It's actually hurting you. So in this video, I'm guaranteed that you haven't heard some of the strategies that I'm going to tell you to apply to get these larger limits from Navy Federal. Now, if you're not familiar with Navy Federal Credit Union, it is the largest credit union in the United States. Now, with Navy Federal, in order to be a member, you need to have some connection to the military, either be a roommate with someone who's in the military, work or connected to the military as a contractor, via a family member, grandparent, spouse, or even yourself. And there's ways, if your kids are in the ROTC, you can even be eligible to join Navy Federal. Now, one reason why people really like Navy Federal, because they're known to be the house of high limit credit cards. Now, with Navy Federal, they are membership based and relationship based. So you can get in and get larger limits, even with lower credit scores. But I'm going to give you these strategies that you need to take if you're trying to get these larger limits from Navy Federal. Now, number one, if you are currently not a member and if you're about to join Navy Federal, you want to make sure you open up a checking and a savings account, and then start a banking relationship with Navy Federal for at least 90 days so you can get a larger credit line. Now, you can apply for a credit card immediately, but most people have found that if you at least wait for that 90-day mark, you tend to get even more higher limits with Navy Federal. But you can take that chance to apply, but it is best to wait those 90 days. Also, Navy Federal have an internal credit score. So setting up things like direct deposits really help your relationship with Navy Federal, and using certain products with Navy Federal. Now, here's some new information if you haven't heard it. Now, here's why I'm not an advocate of the pledge loan. What people don't understand, the pledge loan is an installment loan. So initially, it does not help increase your credit score. And what happens, people will put it on for 6 months or even a year, even 2 years. It's still, once that account closes, it drops your credit score. And I see many people with it for 6 months and have multiple pledge loans. And then when it closes, it shortens your age of credit. And if you're over a 700 credit score, that's really damaging your credit score, because age of credit is really important to your credit score the higher your credit score is. So your better option, especially if you have trouble credit, you're better off by getting the secured credit card, because it's in a revolving credit card and it's going to help your utilization. So adding that card to your credit report, you'll see on average a 50-point increase without removing any negative item. So that's going to be your better way. Now, if you have trouble credit, here's an even better option. So if you're pre-qualifying and all you're getting is the secured credit card, and even for people with good credit, if you're not getting the option of what you want, what you can try to do is just add on a rent reporting account. Now, it's an installment loan like the pledge loan, but it's an aged account because you can backdate and add on payments from the past, which now will add more positive payments on your credit profile, and that can increase your credit score, and you have it reporting ongoing. So it's not closed. So that person with troubled credit, you can report with Rental Kharma all the way back in your rent payments as long as you've been in that rental unit. So if you've been living at a place for 11 years, they can add on those past payments for you and now your ongoing payments. So that's going to help your credit score. Or you can go with Boom. Now with Boom, it'll add back up to 2 years prior and ongoing. Now with Rental Kharma, it reports to Equifax and TransUnion. Boom reports to all 3 major credit bureaus. Now understand, for a personal credit card, Navy Federal will be pulling from TransUnion FICO 9, and FICO 9 do take into account of rental payments. Now on the business side, Experian FICO score 9, and that also takes in account of rental payments. So just keep that strategy in mind, because that can help you maybe move from a secured card in the beginning if you can instantly increase your credit score with adding on that trade line, and make sure you pay down all your credit cards on both sides to lower your utilization and boost your credit score, and let it report and stop using your current credit card. Now, with a person with a 700 credit score or better, just understand when you add on a new line of credit, you'll see a decrease in your credit score, probably by average of 3 points. But if you have that better credit score, you've been in there for 90 days, you'll probably get qualified if you aim for the lower credit cards. So the lower credit cards of entry to get approved for is the cash rewards, platinum card, and the gold rewards. Now, a little higher bar is going to be the flagship and the American Express card. But what if you have good or bad credit, what you can do to gauge that, make sure you go and pre-qualify before you apply for that card. Now, if you're a person with a good credit score, you could from the jump go ahead and get a $25,000 credit card if you have a prime credit score, meaning like 680 and up. But even people with lower credit scores and still could get those large limits for Navy Federal. That's why people love Navy Federal. Now, once you got that larger credit card line, you have more options. Now, if you really focus on building your internal score for those people with a little troubled credit, if you have a spouse, or even if you have a significant other parent, ask them to add you on their accounts. For instance, like if they have a savings or checking account, to add you on there, and then it looks like you have multiple accounts. Same with the person with the good credit score. You can take that option to build your internal credit score with Navy Federal. Now, just keep in mind, those people that has that troubled credit, if you only qualify for that secured credit card, they will look into 6 months on converting that card. So in between that 6 months, you really need to start working on those negative items. For instance, try to dispute those items, work on your utilization so you can get your score up when they look to convert that card. If you need my help with my coaching and my AI system, my users like Sean went from a 612 credit score all the way up to over 750 for all three of his credit scores, and one being close to 800 within 6 months with my elite credit system. So you can join and sign up below. And just keep in mind, you still going to have what Navy Federal have on both sides if you get approved for a card, called the 91-3 rule, meaning you have to wait 91 days and or 3 bank statements before you can apply for another card again. Now, here's a caveat with you guys that are going for those cards. Like I said, it's an easier barrier to get those cards I mentioned because it's a lower requirement. Now, if you want that $80,000 line of credit on one card, that's going to be the flagship. Now, one thing about the flagship, it's a higher bar because you need to be able to qualify for a $5,000 credit card limit in order to get that card. So if you're a person currently already have a $5,000 credit card limit, you might qualify for that card. But if you go for the lower end cards, you can get even larger of an initial limit than you will with the flagship. So here's what you're going to do. You can do a product change. So Navy Federal will tell you you can do a product change on a product if you have that card for a year. So with that product change, there is a backdoor method that people are using. Instead of waiting a year, what they've been doing is applying in the app just by emailing the back end and requesting a product change. And some people are getting that product change before the year is up. So you can use that hack to get that product change earlier. So if you're a person that at that point that got that card or that larger limit, you don't have to get another hard inquiry to apply for that flagship credit card. Do the product change. And then now you have the ability to get that $80,000 credit card limit. Now, keep in mind, the flagship goes up to $80,000. All the other cards can go up to $50,000. Now, here's the key. Navy Federal will only give you an exposure of $80,000 on the personal side for one card. If you get multiple other cards, they're going to split that up. So here's the game. Instead of you guys always running for another Navy Federal credit card out the gate, if you're that person that get that credit card of at least a decent credit limit over that 25,000, you get that 25, 10,000, whatever, and you got a decent credit score of 680 and up, if you want to build a better relationship with Navy Federal, you need to go on the business side. Stop always being so thirsty on the personal side. Here's why. You want to set up that business account because if you can get that business credit card, the Go Biz rewards, you can set that up where it's not showing on your personal credit. A lot of you guys' problem with your credit score is utilization. And I see over and over again, people get Navy Federal, run that card up, and now their score is down because they got all of this utilization. If you get on the business side of credit, it doesn't show up on your credit report if you set it up right. So you can open this credit card with Navy Federal long as you have a business account with Navy Federal and get a credit card up to $25,000. So now you're just not capped out at that $80,000. You can go and get a $20,000 on a $25,000 limit on the business side of Navy Federal. So it is wise for you to try to get that second in line. The reason why, if you're that person with a more premium credit score, 670, 680 and up, because you can hide your utilization moving forward. Now, the way you can do that, you can get an EIN number by either using a LLC or establishing a corporation, or you can even get a credit card under your own personal name with an EIN number, a business credit card. Just by driving Uber or Lyft, signing up, you can get that business account and get that Go Biz credit card. Now, what they do have a version of a Visa or a MasterCard. I always tell people go with the MasterCard because you can use it on platform or Melio, so you can start moving money from that card or shifting money on that business card and get some of that utilization off of your personal side to keep and maintain your credit score. Now, if you need help with that, I am doing consultations now. If people who have businesses, or if you're 680 and above credit score and you want to get business lines of credit, you can sign up, and I'll leave that link below. But just keep in mind, you guys, you want to start playing that side instead of just always running to rack up cards on your personal side. So once you do that, they will allow you as a sole proprietorship to apply right in the portal or a single member LLC. But here's the key: you want to set that up with that EIN number to open up that business account so you can apply for that card. Because if you don't do that first, you got to take the time to change it up. I had to do that. So you want to make sure that you have that all structured first before you sign up to try to get that business credit card. Now, here's the other thing: the business credit card, from me talking to the agents on the business side, it's not subject to the 91.3 rule. So if you got a personal credit card approval, then you can go and get the business credit card and apply right after. So you can go ahead and just apply if you set that up without the 91.3 rule with the personal side. So you can flex that much better. Now, your next move with the person, even if you have the troubled credit, you can do that product change if they change up that card beforehand in the system. And then if you do that product change, you could not go into that flagship for anybody. You must meet that requirement to change over by that $5,000 limit on that card in order to product change that card. So if you're a person with the secured credit card, they change you over to the cash rewards card. What you can do at that point, I will wait for the 91 days or the 91 days, 3 bank statements. And what you can do is see if you can do the product change in the system. Now, if you get approved for that product change in the system, what you want to do is immediately ask for a credit line increase. Okay, so you can go for that credit line increase. So wait for that 91 days or 3 bank statements and go for the product change, and then do the credit line increase, because the product change doesn't count for that 91.3 rule. So yeah, the 91.3 rule, it doesn't count in that. And so then if you are at the point that you have that $5,000 credit limit, or you get a larger limit, then you can wait and try to do it again in the system. I will still wait at least about another 6 months if you already did that product change. So that's going to be that hack, so you can then get that flagship card to get that $80,000 limit. The same thing goes for you. If your credit is at a good standing point at that time, over that 670 credit score, you want to get on the business side. And you want to get on the business side with multiple other companies, you guys, and other banks, instead of staying on the personal side. So you can get even more out of Navy Federal, and it be hidden because they don't even report to the business credit bureaus by getting on the business side, and you can even get more than that 80,000 on the personal side. So those are the hacks for y'all where you can even get those larger lines with that bad credit. So what you guys want to do is make sure you're working these strategies to help you not only build your credit score, but also start thinking on how you can leverage these lines of credit to make money. So I hope this was educational. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments section, or you can go to my website and all your questions go directly to my cell phone. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.